coming off that national championship, 2 College World Series teams, and this just may be a preview of another matchup in Omaha in a few months. Dave Neal alongside former Stanford All on the mound today that's going to try to push it to 19-0 is Marcus Phillips.
It's a big-time arm, but I think the one thing to remember with Phillips is this is just his 3rd start in Division I baseball. Had 2 starts last year, primarily out of the bullpen. It's a mid to upper 90s real fastball, but he's looked comfy in the starter's role so far this year. We talked right before we came on the air. First SEC start ever. His 2 starts last year against Bellarmine and Queens. This is a different lineup.
A completely different story. And he hasn't thrown many innings at all in his college career because of injuries. And obviously last year just trying to find some room on that staff for Tennessee. As you saw the Gators lineup, Justin Nato lead things off out in right field. 1 for 3 last night. Boy, he has been an outstanding pickup for the Florida Gators. Hitting .429 on the year. Transfer from Jacksonville. Played 2 years at Jacksonville. Started 78 of 79 games over his 2 years that he played in. Got off to a great start. First 2 games he played as a Gator this year, went 6 for 7 at the plate with 4 RBIs. 2-2 count. Slaps that one off the netting. We'll do it again. And congrats to Tennessee basketball. They just took down Auburn 70-65. They move on to the SEC championship game tomorrow.
Now they're all going to start filing in. Basketball just won. Now you can make your way into Lindsey Nelson.
Shot down the line and left.
By the way, Marcus Phillips just hit 100 in the first inning. Was living 98, and then that ball that was fouled into the Florida dugout was an even 100.
They're accustomed to that here, aren't they?
I know we've talked about the last few years, but the influx in velocity and the change in, I would say, the last 5 or 6 years is incredible. I mean, it's rare to see somebody start.
Well, the out was triple digits again.
Yeah. And on the outside black at the knees. Listen, I don't care who you are and how good of a leadoff hitter. If they're going 100 outside black at the knees, that's a hang with them. Probably going to win that one on the mound.
So the first strikeout for Marcus Phillips. Bobby Bozier steps in, the third baseman. Goose egg last night, 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Still hitting over 300 on the year. 306, 7 homers, and 25 runs batted in. Another transfer. He moved just up the road from South Florida.
You got 4 transfers offensively, or at least first-year transfers offensively in this Florida lineup. 1 from JU, 1 from USF. Blake Sear from Miami. Landon Stripling from Texas Tech.
That one misses a little bit low. Those are 3 years at South Florida. Played in a bunch of games. 127 overall. Started 106 of those. Boy, Phillips. 6'4", 246. An imposing figure. 60 feet, 6 inches away. Fouled straight back.
And for Phillips, too, and we talk about the velocity, he's already been up to 100 today. He's walked just 6 guys this year. 6 walks, 25 well, now 26 strikeouts after the strikeout to Nato to start. But the control, for the most part, has been pretty good. I can make it 6 walks, 27 strikeouts in the first 2 of this game. Both of them on this. Fastball between 98 and 100 so far. That one at 98. You can see Bozier just a little bit late right there, and a great start for Marcus Phillips on the mound.
Here's Colby Shelton, the shortstop, hitting in the 3-hole. Boy, he has had some sort of run offensively. It's been his freshman year at Alabama, last couple of years with the Gators. Started every game last year at shortstop, 20 home runs. Had 25 the year before as a freshman.
Yeah. And made the switch to short last year, and that was, I think, a switch. He played third base at Alabama last year at short, stuck there the whole year. Obviously, Florida maybe underperformed during the regular season, but then find their way to Omaha yet again, and Shelton was right in the middle of that lineup and right in the middle of the dugout. Or excuse me, right in the middle of the diamond.
Slaps it the other way.
He's going to hit home runs. But he was just talking about how his hit tool has gotten so much better because he's using the other side of the field. Does it right there. Wasn't a full shift on, but Dean Curley had him pitched up the middle a little bit right there, and Shelton shot it through the left side for the Gators' first hit.
Yeah, Blake Sear steps in, but that's an interesting dynamic. He came with the power first, and the hit tool maybe second, which normally is the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of kids that'll come in, and the power is the last thing to show up. In college, for Shelton, he had power numbers from the jump.
Well, they had him picked off. Shelton was taken off, and Phillips, I don't think, knew about it. Nobody recognized it.
It was a good job by Phillips right there to not balk, because a lot of times when guys start yelling that situation, you flinch just enough for a balk.
Sear, another transfer. He's out of Miami. Couple of seasons with the Hurricanes, played in 85 games. He's a guy that was a middle infielder initially, moved out to center field last year. And that has kind of been his home now out in the outfield. He was a freshman All-American a couple of years ago when he hit .305 with 17 home runs with the Hurricanes.
It's a really deep Florida offense. And they're still not 100% from a health standpoint. But I think when you saw the Gator offense last year, top 5, 6 in the order, you said, okay, they can do some damage. And then 7, 8, 9 was
base there for Shelton, and that'll be his 5th of the year.
You could tell early in this at bat, Shelton was maybe going to take a chance.
He'll be nailed by a few. College baseball.
And let's go ahead and throw in against the defending national champs who have not lost a game all year. He's looked apart, though. He has really looked apart. I think the one thing that stood out the most to Kevin O'Sullivan so far for King is the combination of control and stuff. The poise has been great. He's walked only 2 guys. Each of those walks came in his first 2 collegiate appearances. Start against Harvard when that week he was named SEC Pitcher of the Week. He didn't walk anybody. But this is a different situation, and I think that's the only question about King right now is how do you react when you get in the middle of SEC play? We'll see on that first start today.
.55 ERA certainly works. And he'll face this lineup right now that's the 3rd best hitting team in the conference at .335. But they have already hit 50 home runs to lead the Southeastern Conference, one better than the Georgia Bulldogs. Dean Curley, a couple of hits last night, will lead things off. The sophomore out of Laverne, California, hit .285 last year with 12 homers and 10 doubles. This year, he has already hit 6 home runs and 23 runs batted in. But this is a very impressive lineup, despite missing so many of those pieces that led him to the championship last year. It's like they haven't missed a beat. So the first pitch from Aiden King will be delayed a moment. And that one misses a little bit low to start things off. King's a guy that loves to work fast, and they're going to slow him down for sure. That is definitely an edict as you watch Curley step out of the box. Batters have to be ready to swing at 8 on the pitch clock. Chopper out to short. Colby Shelton makes the play there. That'll be 1 down. That'll take us to the 2-hole hitter. So Gavin Keelan, who has been a special find to transfer from Louisville out of Wisconsin, Milton, Wisconsin, hitting in the 2-hole. He's only swinging it at a 450 clip with 8 homers on the year. And over the last 12 games, it's close to 500, a 477 mark. He is third in the SEC in batting average, right behind his teammate Levi Clark, a freshman out of Atlanta.
You talked about the offense that Tennessee lost. First team in the history of college baseball to have 5 guys hit 20 or more home runs. They're all gone, every one of them, and yet this Tennessee offense has already hit 50 long balls this year.
Keelan through the left side. Well, you mentioned that production. This is what it looks like in terms of numbers. 65% of their home runs, 55% of their RBIs. This is a team that had 184 home runs last year, and they lose 120 of those.
And the rotation.
Yeah. Oh,
and they're 18-0, the last standing undefeated team in the entire country. And for Tony Vitello, it just feels like rinse and repeat. Yes, some different names, but some guys that if you're a college baseball fan, you know some of those names already.
Here's Hunter Ensley, one of those returners, the center fielder. A real leader on this team. A senior with a couple of home runs, hitting .316. Already with 6 multi-hit games. Makes it 7. I forgot about last night. 7 multi-hit games for Hunter Ensley. Hit .296 last year with a dozen home runs. Ball was jumping out of this place during batting practice this morning by both teams. We saw some hit the top of the scoreboard over the batter's eye. I mean, it was flying.
That's more of what you expect to see when you come to this ballpark in batting practice. Not necessarily the setting last night when the wind was howling in.
Fouled off at the plate.
King's a 4-pitch guy. Fastball control is kind of what he leans on. It's 2 different breaking balls. He'll throw a slider and a curveball. And he'll throw a split, too. A lot of times that split will come when he gets in 2 strike counts. Doesn't use it a whole lot until he's looking for swing and miss.
That one's fouled back. We'll do it again. King on the year has given up just 9 hits in 16 innings coming into this
split. And it maybe wasn't exactly where he wanted to throw it, but velocity difference was just enough kind of late arm action, enough sink to get it in on the hands. You can see Hunter Ensley trying to pull that hands in to get the barrel to it, but the split was enough to keep it off the bat. First strikeout of the night for the freshman.
Here comes the Ole Miss transfer, Andrew Fisher, who has been on a power surge of late. 6 homers in his last 8 games. Started his career at Duke in 2023, then went to Ole Miss last year. Young man out of New Jersey's found a home here in Knoxville and is anchoring that first base spot for now. Look at the double bag the base runners have to hit. Can be either that orange or green color. Tennessee decides to go with the green.
That surprised you?
A little bit.
If there's any place they're going to go orange, you thought they'd go orange here.
Well, maybe after this discussion, they'll make it orange.
We have that kind of influence, huh? So I'm sure they didn't think about it. There's no way it came across their mind.
You're back here soon, I think. Maybe you'll get the orange one by then. A special treat for KP, the orange bag. But that bag will be used throughout the season, and it's on plays down the line. Once the play is made, that bag is no longer in existence. So from here on out, the runner at first continues to touch the white base. There have been a couple of hiccups over there this year.
I like it. Honestly, I like it. I mean, the safety component is a big one, but the play that I think is always the hardest is when the entirety of the base is in fair territory and you get hit with a throw going down the line.
Well, that thing has popped up a mile in the air out to center field. That is caught there by Hayden Yost, and the inning is over. Brendan Lawson will start things off for the Florida Gators. Lawson, the freshman. Last night went 1 for 3 with 1 strikeout. .333 on 98 miles an hour. Third strikeout.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night right there. And I think Lawson must have been looking slider because he just froze on a fastball that caught a bunch of the plate right there. That's 3 of the first 4 outs that Phillips has retired have been via the strikeout.
Brady Donay. Brady last night, couple of hits, 2 RBIs on one of those base knocks. Brody will foul that one down the line.
Donay got off to a really fast start from a home run standpoint. About as imposing as you're going to see in the box in any program this year. And he's also a catcher. We'll see a lot of catchers that have that build, but DHing today.
Fouls that one off again. He started his career at Virginia Tech, 1 year there, now in his 2nd season in Gainesville. Phillips has thrown 7 straight strikes. And make it 8.
Well, the stuff is so good that if he's out there and Phillips is ahead of you 0-1-0-2, it is just not a comfortable at bat. Filled the strike zone up so far to start this inning. 2 quick strikeouts, now 4 in the game.
Landon Stripling will step in, the 7-hole hitter for the Gators over at first base. One of those transfers. He comes by way of Texas Tech. Makes his home, though, in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Went to a baseball powerhouse there, Parkview High School. At 24 starts with the Red Raiders. Played in 33 games and hit .253, 4 homers. Was a really, really good high school pitcher. Gave that up, though, when he got to Texas Tech. Seems to have worked out just fine for him. Two and two, 2 outs.
A freshman to show up and to have the start that Levi Clark has had. There's not a lot that look like that either. I mean, that doesn't look like a freshman. Stiff of the barrel, too, to drive it to right.
first as the third baseman, Bobby Bozier, came crashing in. So that works well. Don't see Tennessee doing a lot of small ball with this lineup.
It's their second sack bunt of the year. I think it's also a little bit of an indicator, and it was no different than last night. There's a lot of respect for the arms that are on the mound on both sides, and it doesn't feel like it's a 10-9 game. Figure out a way to push that first one across feels pretty good.
So the infield will play in with one down for Manny Marin.
Yeah, there would be another indicator that everybody thinks it's going to be a close game. A sack bunt from Tennessee in the second inning, and Sully brings his infield in the second inning.
The freshman middle infielder out of Hialeah, Florida. He came in as a top 25 ranked player at his position at shortstop, coming out of high school, the third best shortstop in the state of Florida.
Tony Vitello was raving about the freshman this week, and a lot of it was the glove work and trying to figure out a place that they can get Marin regularly in this lineup. Takes a slider that wasn't that bad of a pitch. Outer third, moving away. Manny Marin stays on it, drives it out to center, gives the Vols their first lead of the day.
Stone Lawless gets the start at catcher today. He'll look at a pitch off the plate. Lawless over his last 5 has been tearing it up at a 429 clip. A couple of homers and 9 RBIs over that stretch. Had a 2-homer game against St. Bonaventure. Two and two the count now. Only one remaining unbeaten left in college baseball, and it's right here in Knoxville. Florida took down the last unbeaten on Tuesday in their midweek game. The Florida State Seminoles went down. They were 15-0. That one lifted out in the air to right. Nadeau is there to make the catch. The tag at first. So Marin reaches second base. There's 2 outs in the inning. So the Gators trying to knock off the last 2 unbeatens in the same week if they could pull it off today. Well, they just tried to appeal the play at first. It was a live ball. They threw back to first to see if they could get Marin, who they thought might have left the bag early. They bobbled the ball at first base, and Marin took off.
That's pretty heads up by the freshman out at second base. You talk about the game slowing down a little bit, and it doesn't always happen for freshmen. Did right there. Saw they were going to appeal. Ball gets away at first base just far enough. Stripling can't get it. Manny Marin moves up 90 feet.
Abernathy looks at ball 1. Seen that before. Have you?
I mean, I can't think of when I have.
Yeah. It's not a common play. That'll be fouled down the line and left.
We've already seen Abernathy make a highlight reel catch out in the left field. Talking to Tony Vitello earlier this week, this is his next center fielder, at least as of right now. Hensley out there right now, rightfully so, but Abernathy, and he showed you why in the second inning, has the ability to play the center field spot afterward. School, and he's done that. Even more at this point. I mean, 9 of his first 17, Florida's ended their year in Omaha. One time they hoisted the trophy.
Last year had to go on the road to Clemson and knock off the hot Tigers to get to Omaha. A hot shot to third. Marin there to make the play. That'll be one out as Luke Heyman is retired. Now Hayden Yost, the center fielder, will step in.
I think Tennessee has 4 shortstops. Now, one of them's not playing. Antigua's not playing, who is about as good a glove guy as you're going to see. But their infield defense this year could be lethal.
Yost looks at a first pitch strike, the sophomore out of Tampa, Florida. Got 14 starts last year as a true freshman for the Gators. This season was cut short, though, late in the year after he was getting some action. Had to shut it down last regular season series and into the postseason. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count.
Slider's been good today for Phillips. He gets the swing and miss against the slider versus left-handers is an extreme number. It's about 62% when they swing at it, they swing and miss.
Out to left. Abernathy on the run. Gets there in a hurry and makes another catch. This not as spectacular as his last one.
Yeah, so don't hit it to the left side. Because there's some dudes over there that can really defend. One up out and left side of the infield for Tennessee. I guess there's a reason why they're 18-0, Dave. They some new names, but man, do they look the part so far.
Back to the top of the lineup. Nato will step in. He was a strikeout victim to get this game started. Was a career .332 hitter at Jacksonville in 2 seasons. We're talking to some folks around the Gator program. It's like, you know, these guys, they've played some good level, high level competition, but it's just something different about playing the next 10 weekends.
Yep.
In this conference, like.
Well, and facing this.
Yeah.
I mean, you faced maybe the best fastball in the country last night in Liam Doyle, and now you get a guy that hit 100 in the first inning, day 2. I mean, the reality of this league right now, and I think it's more so than any other league, you better be able to hunt a fastball, because you're going to see elite fastballs at least once over the course of the weekend, and in some cases it could be 3 times.
2-2 on Nato. And he held off. Fourth full count of the game for Marcus Phillips.
Gators did a great job last night of pushing Doyle's pitch count up early, and I think that's probably what you'd like to do with Phillips, but if he's throwing strike 1 a lot, it's a lot tougher to go up there and be patient. And it's a Gator offense, at least coming into this weekend, that swung at the first pitch, the highest percentage of any team in the SEC. But you got to react to who's out there on the mound, and the idea last night, try to drive the pitch count up, get Doyle out. Sure, that's the same approach tonight.
Foul back in the same spot. Boy, Nato has seen 16 pitches in his first 2 at-bats.
I'd say that's what you're looking for out of your leadoff hitter.
Ground ball, that's going to sneak through for a base hit. That is how you do it at the plate for Justin Nadeau. Hit.
Remember that first base coach for the Gators? She was standing over there? Michael Byrne. He of the disappearing fastball that was a closer that threw about 90 miles an hour, had a great collegiate career.
Nobody could hit it. Ground ball out to third. Scooped up there by Marin. Offline throw, but there is the tag. A little stare down with Fisher and Bozier.
It's the summer's crazy, and I mean, everybody wanted to talk to Tony before he won a national championship, so now it's crazy. And then you got to do the speaking circuit and everything else. And oh, by the way, there's guys in the portal right after you played in Omaha, so now you got to reload your roster because you lost 100 and some home runs. And then fall ball starts, and before you know it, you're like, okay, now we can slow down a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was ready for this season to get underway. A lot of these coaches are so focused on the task at hand. Dean Curley, one of those guys on that team last year in Omaha.
Tony really raves about this kid's leadership abilities, and you could see pieces of it when he was a freshman, but he didn't have to lead. There was leaders all over the place. Now steps into a role, him and Ensley, to where they are looked as that.
A slow roller out to short, fielded there.
Very good that time.
Here as we move to the fourth. That's pretty impressive. 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, and no walks.
Yeah.
Iowa Western Community College.
If you can name their mascot, I will buy you a fresco when we get done with this.
The Bullfrogs.
Not even close.
Okay, I gave it a shot.
It's a river dog, if that helps.
Close.
It's not called, it's a different word for a river dog, and you're still not going to get it.
There's a base hit from Colby Shelton. His second hit today.
It's the Reavers on such a thing.
Iowa Western Reavers.
Got it.
Now batting a left fielder, Blake Sear.
Well, that's where Marcus Phillips spent his first year of college baseball. Blake Sear singled his first time up. Well, he's riding a 9-game hit streak now. There's Phillips and what it's looked like. Again, we'll go back. Not a whole lot of innings for a guy that's 3 years in college.
32 1/3 innings total coming into this season. 2 career starts at the Division I level.
And who were they
But
against?
it was against Bellarmine and Queens, not Florida.
But looks the part.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the stuff's through the roof. It's really just 2 pitches. I mean, it's fastball slider. That's what you're going to see. But, again, the fastball, at least early, was between 98 and 100. It's dipped down a little bit right now. But if you dip down and you're throwing 95, life ain't bad.
High in the air out to the right side. Reese Chapman makes the play. That'll be the first out of the inning. Liam Doyle, who pitched last night for Tennessee, left-hander, I mean, he was pumping 96, 98 all night with the fastball, lived with the fastball.
Yeah, and Liam Peterson on the other side was outstanding. Yeah. I mean, he was mid-90s. We just say it over and over and over again right now, the velocity. That is some of the best. I mean, from a swing and miss on a fastball, nobody's numbers are what Doyle's are this year.
Leading the country in strikeouts. 6 Ks last night. 4 2/3. Again, 100. Look at that, 105 pitches in 4 2/3. Kudos to Florida.
Did what they wanted to do.
Foul tip. Lawless can't hang on.
Stone Lawless it sounds like a middle linebacker and a catcher.
Yeah.
Like if Stone Lawless was really fast playing center field, it just wouldn't seem right. He's got to be put together and take some foul tips.
Dean Curley made the catch in front of the bag. And it looks like we're going to have to maybe take another look at this, perhaps.
Curley was a little bit late getting there. And it wasn't a delay. It wasn't a great break either, but it wasn't a delay. Did he get that back foot or not? That's the key. Did he get him on the way by?
Is thrown out for out number 2 of the inning.
Florida's been aggressive on a base pass. I mean, Shelton's attempted 2 steals. They thrown out at home plate to end the first inning on a hard single to left field.
You know what's amazing about Florida? They just don't. They didn't run last year. I mean, it wasn't part of what they did. Colby Shelton led them last year with 6 stolen bases. He has 5
already.
Yeah. It's an aggressive Gator team in 2020.
Hey, Tony, we talked earlier this week. Obviously, there's a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. You were raving about Jay Abernathy.
Yeah.
Just as a kid, as a player, he makes a highlight reel catch in the second inning. What have you seen out of him so far on campus?
I mean, just unbelievable presence, and this guy up to bat and him were the work ethic leaders in that freshman class, and he's not scared. It's just, like I told you guys in the call, it was a lot of likable traits, and so the SEC is all about hate, because if they're not wearing your uniform, you're literally born and raised to hate everybody else. But it's really hard, really hard to not like Jay Abernathy no matter who you are.
All right, a lot to like about your team. We'll let you get going. Appreciate the time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yeah, I hope you guys are having fun up there. It's barely stressful down here.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, last night, you could get prepared. You can play some of these preseason tournaments and, play some good competition, but it's a different deal. And this guy, Levi Clark, singled or actually doubled his first time up as he led off the second inning. And I talked to Tony. I've known Levi for a long time, played with my son, and talking to Tony last year, they were concerned he wasn't going to make it here. The draft would have got him, but word kind of got out about Levi that he wanted to really be a Tennessee Vol and slipped down a lot of draft lists, and fortunate that he was able to get on campus. And I don't think anybody thought this was maybe not now.
Fast.
Yeah,
I think you made the comparison to Pete Alonso, which I think is an interesting comparison just as far as body type and power. But we were talking to Sully about Pete this morning, and he's like, you got to remember, Pete didn't have that type of power his freshman year. It came later on. Well, Levi Clark has had that kind of power already. This becomes the real testing. I mean, you talked when we came on, it's the first of 10 straight weekends in the league, and then you go to Hoover. Now we start to see, does that power continue when you're facing arms like the freshman he's facing 60 feet away right now?
good take by Clark there, who came out of high school ranked as a top 40 prospect nationally, the 4th ranked catcher in the country, the top catcher in the state of Georgia. Already SEC Freshman of the Week honors. Hit a 3-run homer in his college debut. And I think there are a lot of people that follow the game that, on social media things, if you're paying attention to the college baseball world, he grabbed your attention when he hit a monster home run at Minute Maid Park in the Astros Foundation College Classic. I mean, a moonshot that was a towering highlight.
Left the stadium.
Yeah. 9-1.
I think the thing that's impressed me the most about Aiden King, the freshman right-hander for Florida today, is his confidence in not trying to miss bats. So you see a lot of guys first start in the league, or sometimes any start in the league, that go out there and dance around the zone. This kid's not afraid to use his fastball. He pitches on both sides of the plate, and he throws it with big-time confidence.
Here's Reese Chapman, a junior right fielder out of Parker, Colorado, 3rd year in this Tennessee program. Started 32 games, played in 50 last year, where he hit .293 with 13 home runs. Fouls that one back. Reese had a nice start to this season. Had a 15-game hit streak to open up this campaign. Boy, Aiden King has looked sharp. Remember, this is a freshman arm, folks.
He's got 4 career starts in college baseball. He has thrown that fastball with conviction. And he's worked both sides of the plate. That's what Kevin O'Sullivan said. First and foremost, we talked to him this morning about him. He said his fastball control at this age is elite.
Fouled off at the plate, Manny Marin.
And the other thing, I mean, Florida's had some incredible starters that have come through there since Kevin O'Sullivan was there. What they haven't had very often is a freshman starting on the weekend. You go back to Singer and Kowar and Dane Dunning and Faedo and all those guys. They didn't start on the weekend of freshman year. Week 1 of the SEC slate. That's how much they believe in this kid right now.
Oh, that hit him. So a 2-strike, 2-out, hit by pitch, put a runner on first.
A slider right there that just got away from the freshman. He talked about how good the fastball control have been. That one just sped his arm up a little bit, got around it. Balls of a 2-out base runner.
For Stone Lawless, the redshirt freshman catcher. Maybe not the catching tools of a Cannon Peoples, but certainly has a really talented hit tool. In fact, last year, he was hurt. That was one of the reasons he redshirted, but got kind of healthy down the stretch, and they were thinking about getting him in that lineup, but felt like there was already enough there, so they just kind of shut him down. And as Tony Vitalo has talked about, the guy can really hit.
Sitting slider right there. Didn't recognize the fastball until a little bit too late. Now, see where the freshman goes with that. Do you go back-to-back 2-seamers inside after seeing that swing, or come back with a slider he was looking for?
Oh, they got him picked off. And there is the tag, and the inning will be over. So the hit by pitch goes for.
And really both sides of the plate. And he's got a slider that probably needs to get a little tightened up a little bit, but he's got a good change. He's got a split that he likes to finish hitters with at times. But he does everything well. He just picked off there at first, had feel for that. So he's going to be a good one.
All right, Slay, we'll let you get going back to business, man. Thanks for joining us always.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Brody Donay will lead things off. Here's a guy that can hit it about a mile and a half, catches one. Tennessee Rivers just over the wall and left.
Even Tony Vitello said something today about Donay goes walking by. He's like, look at that guy. I mean, he looks the part, man.
To the dugout for out number 1.
Well, definitely caught the play, and I think Brody Donay thought this ball was down, and he may have a pretty good argument. You can see that glove coming back up. I mean, right there. Marcus Phillips, though, that zone gets bigger when you throw a lot of strikes, and he's done that today.
Landon Stripling will step in against Phillips. 6 strikeouts, no walks for Marcus Phillips. Slaps that one foul.
It was interesting talking to Tony today about Phillips. And you get a guy that throws, like 15 innings in junior college. And I think you asked the question, like, what did you guys see? And they had somebody they trusted that said, listen, watch him during the summer, but the stuff could be weekend rotation stuff in the SEC.
Yeah, don't let him get away.
Yeah.
That one in foul territory. Wynn playing some crazy games with that baseball, but Manny Marin hangs in there and makes the catch. That'll be out number 2.
And you could see it last year when Phillips was out there. I mean, the stuff was loud immediately, but the control wasn't ready yet. And in years past, and thankfully some of this is gone, he's primarily a two-pitch guy. 15, 20 years ago, they said, well, two-pitch guy, you're a bullpen guy, that's it. You're going to stay there. No, the stuff plays. He's had the ability to throw that slider for a strike today, but the fastball is what everything works off of.
Fouled straight back. Well, Liam Doyle last night, I mean, his other pitches weren't as good as his fastball. He probably threw 80% fastballs.
That's what he's been doing this year. He's been throwing at least 70% over the course of the year, and Phillips throws a fastball about 67% of the time himself.
That one just misses. 1-1 the count to Luke Heyman. Fouled off at the plate for the junior catcher out of Longwood, Florida. He started all 66 games last year. Kind of split his time between catcher and first base, but likely going to spend majority of his time behind the plate this season.
There was a guy named Caglione that was standing at first base for a lot of the season.
Hard to bump him off that.
Probably not going to play.
Keggs has already electrified spring training with a monster home run. Didn't take him long.
So I was looking through the Florida notes, which I know that may surprise you, but I did, Dave. And they had 16 guys playing the big leagues last year. 16 guys that played at Florida had major league time at some point last year. That's a big number.
So often, I think everybody falls back. The default for Florida is the number of arms that they have had over the years, and rightfully so, some of the electrifying arms, but it's some of these other position players, the Jonathan Indias of the world.
India, Alonso. I had Langford. Didn't take him long to get to the big leagues at all with the Rangers. Anthony DeSclafani. Remember that name?
Oh, yes.
Big league time last year.
Yeah.
And then come out the next year and have the best start in school history.
And throwing some freshmen out there in this lineup.
Yep.
This is the redshirt freshman, Stone Lawless.
Four of the 9 in the Vols lineup today are freshmen. 3 true freshmen and Lawless the redshirt.
Lawless 0 for 1 today. He looks at ball 3. 3-0. The first 3-0 count of the afternoon for Aiden King, whose pitch count is at 64, make it 65. He'll get me over fastball. And there is ball 4. First walk by either pitcher today. There was a hit batter last inning by King, but the first 4-ball count today.
They were going to sack bunt in the second inning. You would think with Abernathy, the freshman right here, who can really run, that this is the time this Vol offense may try it again. Again, including the sack bunt that happened earlier in this game. Tennessee has 2 all year.
50 home runs and 2 sacks. Squares up down the first baseline. Boy, that is executed flawlessly. Close play. And I think he got him. Crowd didn't like it, but you saw some of that speed from Abernathy.
Yeah, that is well done. It's one thing to get the bunt down. It's the other thing to force the defense to speed up, which Abernathy's just going to do because of the wheels. Takes it with him. The freshman King fields it, gets rid of it pretty quick. I thought he beat it. I think I may be wrong.
I think he's out.
I mean, it's really close. It's a great bunt. I mean, the old days of just square and lay it down. No, man, if you can run like Abernathy can.
Ooh, that angle might have changed my thought about that a little bit.
When I saw the play the first time, I thought that right foot hit the bag just in front of it. It's on the bag. I feel like I'm arguing with myself at this point, which I'm pretty good at. But if you say them both, one of them's going to be right.
Right, just kind of go with it.
I think he's probably safe, but he might be out. Covered.
Yeah. I will say this as I regroup after that.
Okay.
The green bag, perfect example of the use of the green bag and why it's in place. Avoids, the runner getting inside the line.
Right.
After review, the runner at first base is out.
Told you.
Yep. You were on it from the get-go. Nonetheless, great job by Abernathy to get that bunt down. I don't know that he's bunting for a hit there. He's trying to do a job, but almost turned it into a base hit.
You're forcing somebody to make an uncomfortable play. And, you know, with the left-hander, if you take the bunt with you, you're going to get out of the box a little bit quicker instead of trying to push it down the third base line. Brought it with him. Was thrown out by maybe a spike.
Here's Dean Curley, top of the lineup. Curley, a couple of ground balls out to shortstop. Colby Shelton has handled those. Curley hitting .344 on the year now. Six homers on the year. Boy, you just, in this day and age with Tennessee baseball, every batter in the lineup has a chance. You just think, like, here's a guy that can hit one out of here. And as a pitcher, I can't imagine what that's like. I guess you just can't really think about it like that, but 50 home runs already this season. They had a game where they hit 3 grand slams in one game.
Usually going to win those. Get 3 grand slams in one.
Yeah. Boy, Heyman behind the plate liked that pitch.
I was going to say that. You don't see that very much from him. That reaction of you're waiting to hear Scott Kennedy say strike and it doesn't come. And he kind of dropped his shoulders right away.
So the 3-2 after Curley gets a little bit more tacky substance on that grip. You know, one of the interesting stats about this Tennessee, we talk about their offense, this Tennessee offense, they actually have more runs than they have hits this year. You don't hear that very often. Fouled off, 93 miles an hour.
This time of the season, I don't know if I've ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he hit 3 grand slams. That does. In one game, that does help.
Fouled off again. Coming into this game, the Vols had 208 runs and 189 hits.
It's not like, I mean, that's by 20. That's a big difference.
Well, they've been walked 146 times. They've been hit by 20 pitches. Ground ball. Out to short. Shelton makes another play. And for the third time, Shelton gets Dean Curley.
Now batting, number 6, Gavin Keelan.
So Gavin Keelan now will step in. He's 1 for 2, singled in the first, flew out in the third inning.
This is a smart visit for me because you got Keelan coming up, who third time that he's seen the freshman. I think this is just to talk through approach and what they want to do. You got first base open, so you can pitch around him. But in Keelan's mind, it feels like one of those times where you're trying to ambush a first pitch fastball and make a difference. And now Kevin O'Sullivan out just to try to slow the mind down of Aiden King.
Season high 75 pitches right now for Aiden King. As a pitcher, are you aware of pitch count, or do you think about it? People talk about it. What's it like in that situation?
Yeah, I think, I mean, a lot of times, in many cases, I don't see it on the board here, but a lot of times you can turn around and look at the board and you can see it, especially now. That didn't used to be the case, but yeah, you can definitely tell. There's nobody up in that Florida bullpen. So, I mean, this game is King's right now for sure. That was more of, hey, how do we want to approach him here knowing that first base is open?
That one is down. 1-0 the count to the Volunteer second baseman. Fouls it off. The transfer from Louisville. 330, 23 doubles, 9 home runs, 41 runs batted in last year with the Cardinals. Hit for the cycle against Virginia Tech.
I come back here in 2 weeks, but I'm disappointed in my pregame performance today because I didn't get any Frank Anderson time.
I know
I need some Frank time.
I think he might have seen us coming because he kind of disappeared. Didn't have a chance to sit down and
listen. Don't bring me into your little group, okay? Frank's a Nebraska guy. If Frank saw me, he wouldn't have turned. I don't know. He might have turned around.
I thought he turned because of you, but now I know the story was because of me. You can blame it on me.
Thank you.
The plate, and Aiden King putting on a show. And another good one, if you want to dial up ESPNU. Hayden Yost skies it to the right side. Keelan in foul territory makes the catch.
Are you going to promote yourself right now? Is that what you're doing?
Tennessee's at Alabama. I'm just saying.
And
I just happen to be there, but I'm just, if people haven't paid attention, Alabama is red hot. Maybe not as hot as this Tennessee or Georgia team right now. Georgia won for the 17th time yesterday. I didn't see the score.
They're down today.
Yeah,
Kentucky's got them down to the 7th. But Alabama won the opener at Texas A&M.
So that's on ESPNU Thursday night if you don't want to watch. Are you doing the Thursday night game?
No.
So you'll be in Omaha just kind of hanging out watching. Probably, hey, I'll text you when we're on.
I might have a watch party. Just invite my whole neighborhood over.
Justin Nadeau steps in, top of the lineup. Florida's top 4 hitters, 4 for 8. Everybody else 0 for 10.
Vandy even that series up today against Auburn. They won the second. Alabama's up 1-0 in the 7th at A&M to try to take that series. A&M's going to be something to watch offensively because when you lose Gavin Grohovac, so you know that your middle of the lineup changes a little bit, but they have not hit the way that I think most expected them to hit coming into this year.
Preseason #1 team in many polls, Texas A&M. That's foul. But they have struggled out of the gates, just 10-7 on the season so far for the Aggies. Coming into today, there were 6 teams in this league that had 0 or 1 loss.
That's crazy. I mean, but by the numbers, we're a third of the way through the regular season.
That one's just off the plate. Full 3-2. You know, getting ready for this weekend, always a great time for us to kick off college baseball season. But you start thinking about what are the surprises of the season. And I was just looking big picture. And you start thinking like the Georgia's a good story.
Yep.
Certainly, I think Texas A&M, the way they started has been the wrong way in terms of a good story. But as far as surprises go, I almost think, and it's hard to say this, but it's because of what they lost. But it's the story here, a team that's 18-0 with Tennessee.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Now, I mean, Tennessee's schedule up to this point hasn't been incredibly tough. They had a tough weekend from a competition standpoint in Texas. But that being said, I mean, you replace well over 100 home runs, 70% of your innings, your entire weekend rotation. I mean, Kirby Connell, I kind of thought we'd come back and he'd already be the mayor, which apparently he's not quite yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will be before long. I mean, this is what's gone. Yes, they won a national championship. Yes, they hit the portal, and they got some of the better portal players in the country. But it's still tough to make them all work together. And I think Tony and his staff have done a really good job of that early.
LSU's gotten off to a great start. 18-1, number one ranked team in D1Baseball.com's poll. And you can't overlook Oklahoma. You've mentioned them a little bit. I mean, they're 16-1.
Yep.
Talk so much about basketball in this, and what has been a historically successful season for the SEC. That ball shot out to Abernathy on a line, but he is there to make the catch. That'll be out number 2. But the way that this is shaping up, this could be one of the best baseball seasons in SEC baseball history, and that is really saying something.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like we say that, you know, over the last 5 or 6 years, we probably said it every year, like this may be the best. No, this may be the best. It's loaded. I mean, you look at the polls for one, but the eye test, both of these teams passed the can they win the whole thing eye test.
There's probably more. Obviously, the league's a little bit bigger this year than it has been in the past, but there are more teams that you could say that about. Could this team win it all?
I mean, A&M's preseason number 1. Arkansas, people will say about it. LSU's number 1 right now. Ole Miss has had a very good start. Honestly, I think better than maybe some would think.
12 now.
12 home runs. He's a shortstop, folks. He's leading the country in home runs and RBIs, and he is a shortstop.
Oh, you know
and
what?
A sophomore.
He'll be featured on ESPNU on Thursday night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll be dialed in.
With your watch party.
About it. My watch party.
With your watch party. Two down. Well, that was a good pitch. Colby Shelton couldn't handle it. I think it's a big moment in this game right here with Colby Shelton, a 3-hole hitter. A couple of singles. 2 strikes.
One of my questions with Phillips is he going to be able to hold velocity? Because he hasn't been a starter really at all the last 2 years, or very, very infrequently. That last pitch at 96. Now, you get a little bit of an adrenaline bump when you think maybe you're coming to the end of the day, but the fastball's carried so far.
Out to second. Keelan makes the play, and the inning is over. The Gators will leave a runner at second base. Nothing doing. Marcus Phillips looking fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, they lost game 1 of the finals. Came back, beat A&M the next 2. There was a lot of orange in the city of Omaha for 2 weeks.
You've been to the College World Series a bunch, covering it, obviously. Was that one of the better environments for?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you, when State won it, it was incredible. When Ole Miss won it, it was incredible. Anytime that LSU was there and they make a deep run, it's incredible. The fan bases within this league, there's just no comparison.
Hunter Inslee out to short. Shelton makes a strong throw over to first. That'll be 1 down. Here's Andrew Fisher coming to the plate, the Tennessee first baseman. would say that as far as transfer pickups go, the combination of Fisher and Liam Doyle from Ole Miss to Tennessee might be the biggest coup in college baseball in the offseason.
They got some good ones now. I mean, Doyle, he's their Friday night guy. Fisher, obviously, he's had a great start to the year. Tanner Franklin. Gavin Keelan's in second to lineup, has had a great offensive start to the year.
Well, they've got a really big shift on for Fisher. He looks at a strike, 2-1.
I like that you can still do that in college baseball. You should be able to you want to put, all 7 of your position players on the right side of second base. Who cares?
That'll be out number 2. And here's Levi Clark, the designated hitter.
Number 30, Levi Clark.
Levi will probably grow into a catcher/first baseman role. Plays a little bit of outfield right now. Just not a spot for him defensively, but certainly there is plenty of room for him in the lineup. Doubled his first time up today. His 5th double of the year. Levi, the true freshman, comes in with 6 home runs, 23 runs batted in. Struck out his last time against Aiden King. By the way, both pitchers now season-high pitches. This will be number 89 for King. And Clark behind 0-2.
He doesn't get cheated. He doesn't get cheated at all. He wasn't getting cheated with 2 strikes earlier in this game. I mean, he struck out, but it is a violent, intentional swing.
Fouls it straight back.
In the old days, 2 strikes, hit, choke up, and put it in play. That was not a choke up and put it in play 2-strike approach right there. That was trying to do damage to the baseball.
Stays outside with that. Pitch number 91. Hanging in there, forced it another pitch. 94 miles an hour. King's been living in that zone, 94, 95.
He's held his velocity the entire game. I mean, kind of where he started, he's been. And that's what he is. He's, 91, 95, may bump a little bit more than that, but he's stayed right in that range all day.
Perfectly. What a job by Aiden King. What's been the most impressive thing about Phillips today? What have you enjoyed most from a pitching perspective?
It feels like he has Florida in defensive counts every time. I mean, he's thrown strike 1 a ton. He really has controlled the slider. Just about clipped him with a fastball. But I think for Phillips, when you really are a 2-pitch guy, when he has the slider, the fastball gets even better. Not necessarily velocity-wise, but outcome-wise, because you've got to respect both of them, and Florida's had to do that today.
Popped him up right side. The wind has definitely picked up. I think it may push it into the seats, and it does so.
You got to remember, too, I mean, we're talking about the freshman from Florida, this being his first SEC start. It's the same thing for Phillips. He's never started an SEC weekend game before. He's pitched in SEC weekend games, but never as a starter, and I'd say he looks part, man.
I can't wait till he gets that lower half a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
See how it handles that. Goodness gracious, his thighs are big.
Yeah, he was a 2-way guy when he was at Iowa Western, and then obviously you throw 100, sometimes they encourage him in just to focus on that. I'd say it's worked out pretty well.
That's when you show up and your bat's no longer in the dugout.
This is one of those things, if you're playing on a grass field that has the dirt cuts all the way down, this probably goes foul. But because it's on turf, it stays fair, and a great job of the freshman Lawless going, getting it, and then spinning to get enough on that throw. Throws a strike over to first base. That's well done. Somewhere, Chris Burke is yelling at the TV about people sliding into first base, too.
You know what? He makes it really simple. The day that you see Usain Bolt slide across the finish line in the Olympics is the day that you should slide to first base.
I hate it when he's right.
I know. Why are we even talking about it?
I'm not sure. Yeah, let's. If this gets re-aired, if we can cut that out, it'd be great. Here's the other thing today with Phillips. Like, for the most part, the misses are in the right spot, and they're close enough that guys can potentially offer. That on his 100th pitch of the day.
Well, it's a career-high innings, career-high pitches, career by Gavin Kylan at second base.
On this inning for Florida, and then off the bat, this looks like it's a single because Keelan at second base had him shaded way over towards first, but instead slides immediately back up to his feet and makes what was a pretty darn tough play look pretty routine.
Here is Brody Donay. You know, Keelan, as he makes that play, just made me think about what Tony Vitello was talking to us about. Like, that's a guy that could be playing shortstop for just about anybody in the country. Out to right. Going to be a long run for Chapman and off the netting. But again, it's a middle infield here is not a problem right now for Tennessee.
Infield period isn't. I mean, Marin at third base can play short. Ariel Antigue was on the bench. I mean, they would bring him in late into games. I'm sure they'll do it plenty this year just because his defense is so good. They can pick it. And I'll tell you, man, whether it's Phillips or anybody else that's on the mound, that makes you want to fill up a strike zone even more because when it's hit on the ground, you feel just fine.
Wasn't the story like one of the scrimmages or something, Tony Vitello didn't put in who was going to be short or second, and the two guys just kind of ran out to their respective positions. He was interested to see who would go to short.
Card.
Yeah.
I thought he actually said it was during the game.
I find that hard to believe.
But I mean, I do too.
Yeah.
At some point, you actually have to turn the head.
But Keelan went to second. Curley ran to short, and that's just kind of how it's been. And you mentioned Antigua. He's a guy that was a little hurt early on, but he's a guy that they think can get them, you know, he needs more at-bats to get out there on a regular basis.
You can really pick it, though.
Donay, slow roller. Phillips sails it over the head of his first baseman, Andrew Fisher. Donay stays at first, and a two-out base runner now for Florida. They're going to score a base hit for Donay.
I agree. I think it is, too. I mean, two swinging bunts in the inning. Lawless made a great play to start this inning off, and if you're Phillips, you got one chance. Barehanded spin throw and good heads up, and sometimes it's the stuff that doesn't show up in a box score, but Keelan backing it up, taking it right off the mount, or taking it right off the wall, keeps Donay at first base.
Another one off the cap of the bat. Ahead again, 0-1.
Go ahead.
Been a pretty regular theme with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and this will absolutely be the last inning for Phillips. I think the question is, if Stripling reaches right here, is it the last hitter?
Stripling today, 0 for 2. Fly ball to second. Popped up in foul territory in the 5th. Runner goes. So they just trying to get something going. Sends Donay.
He's a big dude, man, but he moves all right. He's 4-4 this year at stolen bases.
Throw down to second is in. Plenty of time. Donay is thrown out by Lawless, and the inning is over. Really touted right-hander coming out of the state of Georgia, was considered the top right-handed pitcher last year. And the number 13 right-hander overall nationally. His senior year in high school, he gave up just 28 hits, all singles. Reese Chapman, the first guy, going to take a look at him. And counts even at 1-1. Sharply hit just past a diving second baseman into right field, so a good start for Tennessee.
96-mile-an-hour fastball right there, but Reese Chapman can handle a fastball. Inner half, shoots it to right field, ball's out there, leadoff man on here in the 7th.
Lawson gave it a good effort, just a couple inches shy of putting it in the mid. That's the first hit for Tennessee since the 3rd inning. And now Manny Marin.
Think about this, too, for all the power that both of these teams have. We see Tennessee sack bunt twice today. And in almost 2 full games, there's been 1 home run. Blake Sear hit one yesterday. That's it. See, the arms are a little bit different on the weekend.
Yeah, Tennessee's doubled up their sack bunt production just today.
And it led to the only run of the game. I mean, they pushed the base runner from second to third. Marin gets the hit to score him in the 2nd inning, and that's it so far on the board.
That one's sharply hit. Shelton was shading towards second and went right through that 5-6 hole.
He's got a little flash, and in a good way. Starts defensively, and we've seen him make some plays over at third. It feels like his defensive clock is really advanced for a freshman. Now if he hits and continues to hit, he can be in a lineup somewhere.
Now Stone Lawless. Stone has a fly out back in the 2nd and walked in the 5th.
Oh, wow.
Bozier
Needed a strikeout.
Jay Abernathy, the 9-hole hitter, due up. Strikeout and a sacrifice.
Well, I think you want to talk about how you're going to defend if Marin runs. So you got 1st and 3rd, 1 out. If there's activity you throw him through, are you just going to let him take it ultimately in that situation? If you do let him take it, it probably then forces Kevin O'Sullivan to bring the infield in. You'll play middle back right now, playing for a double play. The corners will play in. But I think that is just, okay, if we get action at first base, let's figure out exactly how we're going to defend this.
Runner does go. They're going to let him get down to second base.
Now you would expect the entirety of the infield to play in. You got a 1-run game in the 7th. You got to do it.
Abernathy up behind 0-2. Abernathy with a couple of fantastic defensive plays today, looking for his first hit. Threw a runner out at the plate, crashed into the wall, making a great catch in left. Boy, just 2 really well-played, pitched games.
It's been crisp.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way around.
That's what you get with number 7 and number 2. Ooh.
It's good 0-2 right there. Exactly where you want to throw it, a good take, but close enough that Abernathy at least has a decision to make as to whether or not he goes after it. Would shock me if you go right back to it. You can double up with that one.
Freshman on freshman. Abernathy fouls it straight back.
This is fun to be back out here, man. Get these environments, 2 of the better teams in the entire country. Crisp defense has been awesome. Guys on a mound are pounding the strike zone. It's baseball season.
No swing. It's even at 2-2.
Those are really good takes because they're intentional elevated fastballs trying to get the freshman to chase. And he fouled one off that may have been up a little bit out of the zone, but they've challenged him twice and he's held off.
Dean Curley, the leadoff man, on deck.
Now see if he goes slider. You got first base open. If you put him on, you got to force it any base. He's gone elevated fastball. Elevated fastball hasn't had the chase. Now you try to drop a 3-2 slider in.
Behind 0-2, 4 straight off the plate, and they are now loaded for Dean Curley. The freshman Abernathy just showed me
Yes.
a lot not pulling the trigger on any of those pitches.
Yeah, he has. I mean, again, that's not anything that's going to stick out when you look at a box score, but you could tell what they were trying to do. Get him to extend the strike zone with elevated fastballs. He did a great job of laying off what were intentionally thrown there.
Well, 8 grand slams on the year for this Tennessee team, including one game where they had 3.
Now batting, number 1, Dean Curley.
Wind is blowing in. First half of this game, there was no wind to speak of. The last hour or so, it has picked up dramatically, and it is blowing straight at us here at the home plate area. Boy, completely fooled Curley.
Look at the depth in the outfield. Have you ever come to a game here and seen outfield depth at this point?
No.
I mean, a lot of times they're playing, a step or 2 in front of the track.
I don't know that I've ever seen a center fielder, especially against a guy like Curley, standing in the logo, the Tennessee State logo. Curley has grounded out to short all 3 times he has been to the plate. Fouls that one out of play. Curley is not one of the 8 grand slams this year. The 1-2. Elevated fastball. 95 miles an hour. Inning got started with back-to-back hits. Chapman singled to right, Marin singled to left. Chapman's over there at third base. Marin at second. Abernathy is over at first.
Here's the thing about outfield depth, too. It's not just whether they hit it over your head. Ball in the gap, not nearly as much time to get there and try to cut it off. Got them on their feet here at Lindsey Nelson.
Fouled straight back. Eighth pitch of this at-bat. This one's coming straight back at us.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That...
Yeah, I did it.
I want you to save this.
I did it.
What you just did was actually extremely impressive.
Thank you.
And I don't like saying that to you, but that was really good.
That hurt, didn't it?
It
that
stings.
hurts.
It stings.
And I gave it to the kid.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you are a relatively
nice
guy.
I caught. Thank you. His first double of the season. Four 0, Tennessee out in front. Keelan today, 1 for 3, a single in the first, a fly out and a strikeout.
And obviously it's still an uphill climb if you're Florida, but for Barbera, you got to keep it at 4. You have to. These bullpen arms are too good for Tennessee that are going to roll out there. You got to turn the page as quickly as you can.
Tennessee did use, that one gets away from Heyman behind the plate, so runner to third. Tennessee did use their best bullpen arm last night, and Nate Snead went over a little over 3 innings.
Yeah, and I mean, you would think Snead's probably down today anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're Tennessee, you can get through this game, guarantee that you're going to win a series, and then you still have Snead tomorrow to come back. Probably not go that deep, but you still got him. That's pretty big. Now that ball in the dirt or in the turf or whatever you're supposed to call it forces that infield to come back in.
Boy, I think this might be an opportunity where you might want to go to another arm. This thing is close.
It totally turned the course of this game.
A brand new iPhone 16 on them.
Go to T-Mobile and get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence on us on our most popular plans. Plus, get up to $800 when you switch.
Jackson Barberi, a freshman, a third of an inning. A strikeout, gave up those 3 runs. The big hit, though, from Dean Curley, the double that plated all 3 runners on base. And you and I were just talking, it's the Jay Abernathy at-bat that kind of lingers there when you had him 0-2 and walked him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, Curlis is going to stand out because it scores all the runs. Abernathy is the one that allowed you to get to that point. So Gators go back to the bullpen. Sophomore right-hander Matthew Jenkins on. It's about 75% fastball. He's going to throw you a bunch of fastballs, low to mid-90s, can get up 94, 95. Now you're just trying to give yourself a chance if you're the Gators. Get it in with 4 and see if this offense can get something going, because they're probably going to see a different Tennessee arm themselves.
Hunter Ensley. Ensley today 1 for 3, has a strikeout on the year. A couple of homers, 6 doubles to his credit. Hitting .317. Runners at the corners. Jenkins, young man out of Live Oak, Florida, by way of Santa Fe Community College. Just kind of staying in the neighborhood. Live Oak not too far from right there in the Big Bend area. Familiar with that as a guy that resided in Florida for a little bit.
Well, you got some relatively local knowledge down there.
That one's off the plate. Three and 2 now. Big day for Tennessee. Basketball team advances to the SEC Basketball Championship. Vols trying to keep their best start in school history alive and stretch their unbeaten streak to 19. It looks like they are on a path to do so. It is now 5-0.
So Tennessee had not had a hit since the 3rd inning coming into this inning. They've had a little help and a couple walks in the inning. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4 hits in the inning. The big one, the bases clearing double by Curley, and he comes in to score there on the Ensley single.
First and second now. Here is Andrew Fisher. This one's down in the turf, and all the runners move up. Second and third now. Still only 1 out in the inning. Fisher looking for his first hit today as Kevin O'Sullivan has seen this one slip away from him.
First pitch of this at bat, they had not shifted against Fisher. Now you get runner second, third. Gators will bring the infield in, but also shift. Shortstop Colby Shelton now on the second base side. And it looks like Florida will go back to the bullpen.
Caden McDonald, redshirt freshman, will be called into action. Tennessee tried to add to this 5-0 lead. They've already played at 4 here in his first hit this afternoon.
I'm surprised at the pitch selection right there. McDonald throws the slider well over 50% of the time. He had thrown it under the hands of Fisher twice. That time they tried to sneak a fastball by him. But different right now. That's a 6th spot in the 7th for the Volunteers.
Dalton Bargo will grab a bat and hit for Levi Clark in the designated hitter role.
On Omaha.
Number 16, Dalton Bargo.
That's what's crazy. A guy like Dalton Bargo,
Middle of the order guy at Missouri his freshman year. And now he's fighting to get at bats, and he can hit, man.
Bargo on the year, 216. Dalton has 8 hits on the year. 5 of them have left the yard.
When he gets it, it goes a ways.
That one's off the plate. Last year, hit 288 homers, 27 runs batted in, and 27 starts, played 50 games. Hit 2 homers in the same inning against UNC Asheville this year. 4th Vol in history to do that. Nebraska kid.
Yeah. Romo
Was the number 1 catcher coming out of that state.
You know you're going to see plenty of sliders, and Bargo swung through the first slider he saw at this at bat. This one down and in, drops the head on it. One duel through 6.5 innings has changed, and with one swing right here, that would end it. In a 1-0 game going into 7th, and Chapman goes deep. It's a 10-0 walk-off for the Vols.
10th batter of the inning, Reese Chapman, who got this whole thing started with a single.